Hello everybody, it's Emery48 here and welcome back to another Star Wars Sunday. Today is Bad Batch Season 1. And I'll say right off the bat, this show is incredible. You get a much deeper connection, at least I did, to the characters because it is a consistent group of characters. Whereas in the Clone Wars, it's very mishmashy. You get one group and then half of them die and then you combine them with somebody else and then some more of them die, and it's really just Rex and the Jedi that kind of carry on throughout. But this, you get a consistent 5-man squad, basically, to see develop throughout a season, which is really different, and I like it. It feels like I'm reading some of the books, honestly. It reminds me of the Clone Wars book. Well, I can't remember what the series is called. But it follows Omega Squad. I haven't read one of them in a while now. I still have to read the last one. It's a Legends book. But this is what it feels like, just following one squad around in their journeys. Season 1, Episode 1, Aftermath, takes place as Order 66 is going on. And right off the bat, a 76-minute episode. This is going to be awesome. A great way to start a season. I don't expect that to start any of the future seasons. I've not looked at anything for Season 2, and Season 3 is not out yet. I do not expect a 1-hour incredible episode, but my goodness, this is a way to pilot a show. Double the length of any normal episode and just jam-packed with action and intrigue. Realistically, Depa Billaba is killed in Order 66. Her Padawan Caleb runs away. The Bad Batch does not know what Order 66 is, except for Crosshair. He seems to understand it. Hunter lied, saying he killed Caleb to Crosshair, but he actually escaped. Bad Batch returned to Kamino, and the clones are acting pretty weird. The Republic has turned into a galactic empire, and they attend a meeting where they see Palpatine's speech to the Senate, where that happens. They then meet Omega, some Australian female child. Admiral Tarkin visits Kamino to cancel the contract for the clones. They get in a massive brawl with regular clones. In the lunchroom, Tarkin wants to see the Bad Batch in a battle simulation. They complete the test, even with them using training blasters against live rounds. Tarkin gives them a mission on Onderon, but he is unsure of their loyalty, since it is unconfirmed if they actually completed Order 66. The target was Saw Gerrera and his fighters, as well as villagers. They decided not to attack. Crosshair is the only one who is pro-Empire in the squad. Omega is also an advanced clone. It's weird that she calls herself Omega, and then everybody else calls her Omega. That's one thing that's been really weird to me in this whole show. Omega gets taken by clones. Bad Batch is arrested for treason upon their return and put in the same cell as Omega. Crosshair gets taken upon their return and into surgery to attempt to enhance his inhibitor chip to keep him loyal to the Empire. Although later in the show, which I didn't actually write down, he said that he didn't have his inhibitor chip in. So I guess I misinterpreted this scene, apparently. Or he's lying about his inhibitor chip being taken out. It could be one of the two. I don't know which. Maybe that's explained in a future season. Crosshair has been made into a dark trooper. He's given new armor, at least, and sent to arrest or kill the rest of the squad. Wrecker gets shot, but they all escape. Oh, I missed a line. The Bad Batch escape with Omega, who is now a part of their squad. They basically traded Crosshair for Omega. They escaped with the help of a Kaminoan, Nala Se, who wants to see Omega safe. That's her main goal here. Bad Batch visits Cut, a deserted clone, which we saw in the Clone Wars, and his family. Wow, I just skipped the whole line again. that was a great first episode. Really enjoyed it. This is an episode that I think I could go back and watch. Like, I could watch the last... That's a whole part of the experience of Revenge of the Sith at this point. You include the last 4 of the Clone Wars, the movie, and this episode. And I think you have a really good, 6-hour experience at that point. Episode 2, Cut and Run. The Bad Batch visits Cut, a deserted clone, and his family, who we saw in the Clone Wars. So this is a neat little throwback to catch up on them. Rex had visited them the day before. The Empire is forcing people to register, or else they cannot transfer credits from Republic credits to Imperial credits. Tech forged chips to get Cut and his family off planet. Hunter wanted Omega to go with them, but she ran back to rejoin the Bad Batch. They had to fight a lot of stormtrooper/clones, but escaped. Episode 3, Replacements. The Bad Batch crash land onto a moon because of damage suffered during their escape in the previous episode. Crosshair is being added to an elite squad of stormtroopers. Tarkin sends Crosshair's new squad to take out Saw Gerrera on Onderon. Crosshair's squad find a rebel group. One of the recruits does not want to shoot surrendered civilians. Crosshair kills him. The other soldiers comply. Crosshair's squad is given Bad Batch's old barracks. Bad Batch make the repairs and leave the planet. The Bad Batch is a very wholesome squad family group. It is going to crush me if and when they kill one of these characters off. I will say episode 3 was a kind of duller episode than the first 2. The first 2 were very action-packed, and this one was just a, get from action 1 to action 2, which comes later. Episode 4, Cornered. Bad Batch lands on Pantora to make ship upgrades and refuel. The bounty hunter from Book of Boba, which I could not remember her name, is coming after Omega. The Bad Batch escape the bounty hunter and Pantora. Episode 5, Rampage. The Bad Batch travel to Ord Mantell to find out why Omega is being hunted. They rescue Jabba the Hutt's child Rancor from slavers in exchange for information. The bounty hunter is Fennec Shand, which as soon as I heard that name, I could not believe that I didn't remember it, but that's fine. It is unclear at the moment who hired her, but at least to the Bad Batch, but it's Kaminoans. Episode 6, Decommissioned. The Bad Batch are hired to steal a tactical droid from a decommissioning site on Corellia. Rafa and Trace, saying they are working to fight back against the Empire, are also after the droid. I was hoping that they'd have some importance because they got a whole 4 episodes about them in the Clone Wars, but this wasn't all that much, and it's not all that important. They're not very useful characters, and I don't know why they've gotten 5 episodes so far. Hunter decides they will do good with the data, so he lets them have it. Which, I mean, is fine, but it didn't have to be Rafa and Trace. This could have been anybody, because Bad Batch didn't know them before this. So it could have been anyone saying that they're working for the Republic or the Rebellion. Ugh. Rafa reports her success and that they received help from rogue clones to somebody. It was unclear who it was. My guess would be it's Ahsoka, but who knows. Episode 7, Battle Scars. Rex visits the Bad Batch. He wants them to come to Bracca to have their inhibitor chips removed. Wrecker got a concussion and went into good soldiers follow orders mode before snapping out of it. The Empire has been notified of Bad Batch's presence on Bracca, which that name sounds really familiar. It might be in Jedi Fallen Order, because that name sounds really familiar to me. Episode 8, Reunion. Crosshair is sent to kill Bad Batch on Bracca. Crosshair is injured. While escaping the Empire, Omega is taken by Cad Bane. The rest of Bad Batch are able to get off Bracca. Episode 9, Bounty Lost. Fennec Shand tries to take Omega from Cad Bane. Omega escapes and reunites with the Bad Batch. Episode 10, Common Ground. The Bad Batch is hired to rescue a former separatist senator on Raxus from the Empire. They leave Omega with Sid, and they have a successful mission. Episode 11, Devil's Deal. Imperial control on Ryloth with Crosshair on planet. The beginnings of Hera's rebellious ways. And we also get Chopper, who is super annoying. I do not like him as a droid. I think he's my least favorite droid in all of Star Wars. So I'm hoping he is not a prevalent character in Rebels, or else that show might be very painful for my existence. Her and her uncle buy weapons from the Bad Batch. Crosshair arrests Hera and her uncle upon their return to Ryloth. Hera's parents attack the Imperial convoy, freeing Hera. They are arrested for attempted assassination after Crosshair kills Senator Orn Free Ta, who was an Imperial sympathizer, but the Empire does not seem to care about that. They use whatever they can to get a benefit. Episode 12, Rescue on Ryloth. Hera calls the Bad Batch to have them rescue her parents. Some clones get arrested for not fighting against the people they just fought alongside in the Clone Wars. Episode 13, Infested. The Bad Batch helps Sid get her parlor back and only slightly piss off the Pikes, but the Pikes seem to agree that everything's fine because they have their spice back. And as we saw in the Clone Wars, the Pikes are not a group that you want to get on the bad side of. And Sid was fairly clear on that, knowing the dangers of the Pikes. Episode 14, War Mantle. Rex calls Bad Batch to rescue a clone. Empire has canceled all remaining clone contracts. The Kaminoans are planning to flee Kamino. Bad Batch infiltrate an Imperial base and free the clone, but Hunter is captured. The Empire knows the Kaminoans want to flee and arrest them. Crosshair visits Hunter's cell. Episode 15, Return to Kamino. Crosshair brings Hunter to Kamino and alerts the Bad Batch of his location. They also come to Kamino. The Bad Batch rescue Hunter and take Crosshair, who said his chip had already been removed. Oh, I did write it down. Didn't even think I did. The Empire fully evacuate and start bombing Kamino with Bad Batch and Crosshair still inside. Episode 16, Kamino Lost. The Bad Batch and a disgruntled Crosshair escape the ruined city as it is collapsing into the water of Kamino. Crosshair does not leave with the group. He just stays on a platform on Kamino. I don't really know what his plan to get off is. And we do see Nala Sai arrive on a new planet as an Imperial scientist after she was taken. This is a very fun show. And after only one season, I can definitely see the potential of it passing Clone Wars as my preferred Star Wars show at this point in the timeline. And that's frankly because it's just a more consistent show. Clone Wars has some really big highs, but it has some really low lows. This show is much more balanced. It has some really good episodes, but it doesn't have those really bad episodes. There's some that are worse than others, yes, but that happens in any show. There are no bad episodes here. They're all enjoyable, and they all move the plot forward, which I cannot say the same about the Clone Wars. We'll see how it progresses in the next 2 seasons, which I believe season 3 is the final season. So I should have my answer on that sometime in either this month or next month. Let me know your thoughts on season 1 of The Bad Batch down in the comments below. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.